now that the rains finally broke, it got a little too hot out to keep the hoodie on, but I wanted to get as close as I could to that new set of does, so I just draped it over myself enough to break up my pattern. Got that last little bit of footage. Not a bad start to the morning. So when I first started this deal, it seemed like it was just a deluge of rain. Day in and day out, just rain. And then today, the weather finally broke and we got nothing but blue skies and a shit ton of mosquitoes and a lot of flooded areas. That's what I'm dealing with out here right now. The rains got so bad while I was filming and actually messed up the audio on a lot of the film that I had already taken during the rainstorm. So I had to spin that off a little bit, try to use the best of the footage that I could in the best way possible. But I'm still dealing with shit like this. These murky areas. It's gonna take a long time for everything around here to dry out. Those two does are still wandering around behind me back there. They're actually not too far away. I don't know if we can make them out since they're standing in the light, but they are standing right there. There's two little dots you can see, boom and boom. So they're staying right behind me, which is kind of cool. I've been out for a long time this round, guys. And I'm feeling the effects of being out this long. I know I'm dehydrated. I'm getting tore up by mosquitoes. I'm getting some patches of rash on me, which might be poison ivy, which I'm really not allergic to. I'll get red for an hour or so, and then it just goes right back away. But other than that, I'm still in pretty good shape. We're going to be heading on down into the valley a ways. See if we can set us up camp before it gets too late. Now that we're done playing with the wildlife for today. Find us another campsite. We're going to be throwing up a tarp hammock setup, just like I did before at the beginning of the video. Whenever we do it this time, though, it's not going to be in reverse. I actually bust out some gear. We'll go over some gear and we'll do the camp setup together. This next area we're about to come up on might look familiar to some of you. The only thing we have to do is get past all of this. So I'm going to set y'all up here until I climb up. Try to move on from there. There we go. This jam here kind of acts as a pretty good barrier between normal and enchanted. It's dangerous getting across it. All this stuff is loose. But we're trying. Okay. We're gonna get a little wet. This blue shale right here on the side is passable, but it's like walking on ice. It's very, very slick. Slow and steady here, guys. We've been to this area in the series before, and I passed through here right before the rains came in and flooded me out. I had to get to higher ground. As far as the Huntsman series goes, this right here is holy ground. Oh, you can't fake that. Quick break, guys. We've been in this area before. I actually started at this point. This is one of the first amazing landscapes that I found in the Emerald Forest. I was hiking up this tributary and came upon it by accident. I come back here, I don't know, 3 or 4 times now. It's one of my favorite spots to visit, and it's one of my favorite spots to take a break. The water here is nice and cool. It's always in the shade. Not an ideal spot for camping, but it's just a stunning location, and I love visiting it. There's an energy here that I can't describe. Good place to rest. Okay guys, it's time to move on. We still gotta get to a new campsite, but as we're heading out of here, I want to show you some of the more intricate details of this particular spot. It all gives way to this black shale. And then up here, you get all these rusty reds and green algae forming. Some moss. Absolutely stunning display of colors. I'm trying to film and navigate through here without slipping off into the water. It's just amazing, the infinite detail that's in this one spot, and it only lasts this one spot. And then it ends right here in this deep pool, and that is a very deep pool. So now I gotta try to navigate my way back across the ledge on the side of the pool. And right now you can't even see the bottom of that thing. I gotta navigate this stone walkway ledge right here to avoid going in the water, which looks fairly easy, but is very slick. So we're gonna see if we can do this without cutting. It's not like I'm gonna die if I fall off of this, but I'm trying to avoid getting wet, because I got to tell you, I'm pretty sick of being wet after filming this episode. But check this out. Look at all those colors in the stone. That's what I'm talking about. This place is just crazy. One more time. We got this really deep emerald pool, and it goes on up into that gorge. One of my favorite spots, and definitely one of the most enchanted spots in the entirety of the Huntsman universe. I'll never forget this place, and I'll be coming back here a lot more. Alright, we got a long way along this ledge. And like I said, we're going to try to do it without cutting. I'll take you guys along with me every step of the way that I can. Just so you get that kind of first-hand experience with it. This is the hard part. See, up here on those multicolored stones, it's a fairly easy walk because they're flat. Stepping down there on the shale, it's angled and very slick. And some of these green stones are slick. You can kind of judge them a little bit, but I don't trust them. Again, not like I get hurt or anything like that if I happen to fall down there into the creek. I'm just trying to avoid getting wet. And this makes the walk a little bit more challenging because I needed that in my life. Okay, gotta step down. We're back to the old log jam that separates the gorge from the more common looking forest. So I'm just gonna climb over that real quick, and then we're gonna be on our way up through the woods and into the water I went. Trying to avoid getting wet. I guess fuck it now. See, I told you I did not trust those stones. That last one got me, but he only got me on one side. That's okay. I'm gonna get across this log jam. We're gonna be heading on off into the woods. See if we can find us another campsite. I just wanted to stop here and take a break. It's been a long trip, guys. A very long trip. Alright, made it past the log jam, and we are on our way. Nice little waterfall there. We're gonna be climbing that in a minute. We gotta get up to the top of that thing to get where we're going. Alright. Progress. I don't know if I want to go up there and see what's up top of that, or follow the tributary and see what's back there. I think we'll follow the tributary a ways, see what's back there. Over and under. Oh, spider webs. Alright. This is the tributary that leads to that other little waterfall. A little bit quieter back here without all that waterfall background noise, right? Ugh, very muddy here. It looks beautiful, but not a place you want to camp. You don't want to camp down in the bottom of one of these gullies. You want to get up one of the ridges, camp up top. Water's close enough, and you're up on dry land. Low areas like this tend to be mosquito heaven. As pretty as they are. Alright, so I'm starting to make my climb out of that creek bottom on up the ridge using what looks to be a little bit older deer trail. They haven't been down through here in a while, but you can see where they kind of mudded it up a little bit. So they trusted this particular section of hillside. I'm gonna follow their lead using some of these roots as a grip. But right here, this is fairly new. That's a deer that tried to come up in here and he dug down in there, slid pretty good. That's still got water laying in it, so it wasn't too long ago. It got pretty hot today. He's probably running just ahead of me. We gotta get up there to the top of that ridge though before we can do anything. Alright, there's the view from the lowest point at the top of the ridge, but as you can see, there ain't no fucking level ground in sight. It's all just cut. And the spaces in between are kind of peaked. No flat ground. A little bit higher. Alright guys, as you can see, I'm going up an incredibly heavy deer trail now to get up this last ridge. And I think this is going to be the last climb. I'm getting fucking exhausted and the sun's getting real low. Hopefully I can get up here and find enough level ground to make a camp. Climbing, man. I've mentioned the effects of these climbs so many times, it's ridiculous. But I think it's important for people to understand just how difficult this kind of terrain is before they try to go out and do this kind of thing. Looks like I got another leg to climb and my heart is racing. Hear my plane. Whew. So yeah, I thought getting to this top of this ridge would be it, but I got this last hill I gotta try to get up. When we get up there, probably be about as high as that fucking plane is. From the looks of things, it might level out up here. I don't know. Man, my legs are burning. Shit's killing me. Alright. Oh, looky here. Well, it looks like we made it all the way up to Mr. Toad's house. That toad's nestled up in this tree. How crazy is that? That's pretty good camouflage. Man, this incline just keeps going on and on and on. We might just have to settle up here, boys and girls, and deal with what we got. Fresh deer scat. And I can still smell them. Yeah, deer is close by. The air is real heavy with the scent. a deer urine. If you don't know what that smells like, consider yourself one of the lucky ones. Let's take a look off the edge. Ooh. There's a long way down. And we're still climbing. This is a little bit better. I'm on this narrow plateau between two valleys. Just a narrow ridge. Got one edge there, one edge there. I'm just on like this real high shelf. So we get a little wider ground. We're definitely high enough up we don't have to worry about water. Up ahead, things tend to clear out quite a bit. I think that might be our spot. Yep, that's gonna be our spot. We can find us a couple of trees up here to work with. Right in between the two valleys. Not a bad deal. We up here with the hawks. Alright guys, X marks the spot. So up here on this top ridge, the trees are a little bit further apart than I normally like, but I do have two right here that are in prime real estate territory for throwing up a hammock tarp setup, so that's what we're going to be doing. Alright guys, so the hammock that I normally use is just this Traveler's collapsible hammock. Just pops up real easy. Now technically, knowing that it's not going to rain tonight, this could be the entirety of my camp setup for the evening. But just for filming purposes, we're going to go ahead and put up the tarp on top of it, even though we do have the mosquito net on this particular hammock. So yeah, normally I would just sleep in that open air. You stay nice and cool, mosquitoes can't get to you, and you can use these right here with a little bit of fishing line. Just run it right through there, won't hurt the netting at all, to hang your light on, so you got a reading light or something to see by while you're in that thing. You don't have to keep getting in and out of it. But yeah, that's my hammock set up with the mosquito net up, which I will need the mosquito net tonight. I'll tell you that for nothing. As I said there, I know it's not going to rain tonight. It is supposed to rain tomorrow, so throwing up the tarp over top of this rig is kind of an unnecessary step, but it is a good photo op, and I ain't got nothing to do right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw the ridge line up and see what she looks like, just to see what she fucking looks like. I did have this same setup down in the valley closer to the creek whenever I started this journey. It worked out pretty well for me down there. It worked out pretty well for me in the rainstorm. I don't know when exactly the rain's going to come in. Having a 10 by 10 up, you know, like I said, right now it feels like an unnecessary step, but you never know. Nature might surprise you. Better to be one step ahead of her, I suppose. Usually like my ridge line kinda up above. I got a 10 by 10, so a 10 by 10 ripstop nylon tarp is pretty big. It's got a pretty big footprint. So just to give myself a little bit more breathing room while I'm in the hammock, I like to put my ridge line up a little bit higher and then just work with it. Show y'all how I do that rig just from a different angle. That's just the center for my ridge line. I take that tab there on the end of the 10 by 10 tile, run a stick up through it, and just tuck that stick right into the ridgeline tile, and that keeps it put. And there she is, guys. Hammock, 10 by 10, ripstop nylon, Bushcraft Outfitters tarp. Basically a portable shelter. I fit all of that into one section of my backpack with ease. And it's also very lightweight. Now if you notice, on this one side of the tarp, I got a lot of slack there. I could pull that slack out, just add another tie off down there at the bottom on the center tab, but I'm not going to do that right now because I want to open this back up. So, bring you guys over here so you can see what I'm thinking. I kind of do this step by step with you. That is a pretty decent overnight shelter that's going to keep you dry, keep the mosquitoes away from you. You're already up off the ground, so you don't have to worry about heat loss or anything like that. So, perfect setup. And then, after you get this all done, you can take your stakes, line this shit right back up onto the stakes because you want to drop it again later if it's going to rain. But I know it ain't going to rain anytime soon, and I want to be able to use the hammock without the rain fly. So just take that and wrap that up. Do the same with the other side. Keep it kind of neat, easy to get to. And flip that sumbitch right back over onto itself. Remember, we put the toggles up at the top ridge line, so it's not going to drop any further than that. Let that drop down the back side just like that. And then, whenever I want it, I can flip it back over. But for right now, let's just have it sit down. The only problem I ever have with this hammock is that whenever I sit down in it, the plastic ribbing that holds the mosquito net up likes to pop up on me. And I'm sorry for eating in front of you guys, but I am starving. It's late in the day. I haven't eaten for a while. We did that long ass hike. Today did not go like I planned, so yeah, it's time to get a snack in. So for my snack this evening, I'm eating honey roasted peanuts, and I got me a deli style Slim Jim here for the meat, protein, and the extra fat. I'm gonna need that. We got a little bit more of an adventure coming up here after it gets dark, and I'll go ahead and show you guys these things. Last week I was contacted by a company called Vaunt. Back in February, I did a overnight hiking trip during a polar vortex. We went out to the wilderness before the front came through, and we were live streaming whenever the vortex hit my area. The temperatures immediately dropped below zero, and I was on a live stream with ice forming in my whiskers. And my hands were burning. It felt like I had dipped my hands in boiling water. They had gotten so cold, and that was with gloves on. Yeah, that polar vortex was nasty. But one of the things that happened in that polar vortex was I had a camp light that looked a lot like this one here. And whenever the temperature dropped, that thing lasted for maybe 20 minutes of that cold before it started flickering out on me. I'm out in the middle of the wilderness in a polar vortex, sub-zero weather, ice in my beard, and my one light started giving out on me. But I always carry a backup light. So that kind of failed the winter weather test, that particular light. Like I said, it looked a lot like this design. So whenever Vaunt got in touch with me and said, hey, we got this lamp we want you to try out. I took a look at it, and I was like, man, I've seen that thing before. And I had a flashback of being out there in that sub-zero weather. But the gal from Vaunt in her email said you might see a lot of other knockoffs of our lantern online, and we own the original patent to it. And if you look at the bottom of it, the patent number's right there. So what I got originally was a knockoff. It was like just a cheap knockoff. The LEDs in it had failed. They couldn't handle the cold. And then later on in a different adventure, one of the LED strips actually gave way inside that thing, so it causes it to flicker all the time. So I was like, man, I feel bad that, you know, I was carrying around this lamp that somebody basically stole the idea off of Vaunt. They have the patent. This is their design. Somebody stole their design from them, you know, made a few tweaks here and there, and ended up sending me a knockoff of the original product. This here happens to be the original product. So I was kind of excited after I got all of that straight to be able to try out this new lantern from, you know, the patent holder. So this thing, I mean, it's evening. Well, it's kind of getting close to sunset right now. This thing is bright, and it's got twice the LEDs in it that the cheap knockoff did, and they are not on thin strips. Those things are in there reinforced pretty good. So I'm actually going to be testing this particular light on a night hike tonight. Once it gets dark, we're going to try this out and see how it works. Now granted, it's not a polar vortex, it's not winter weather. We'll have to wait till the winter weather comes back around to see how this thing does in the cold. But for a summer field run, we're going to take it through my kind of terrain, my kind of testing, maybe even a Huntsman slide down the valley. We'll see what that thing can take. And as far as my backup goes, not only does Vaunt have lanterns that can take a beating, but they also make these here, which is a tactical style flashlight with the same kind of LED in it that the lantern has. So this is my backup light. I'm using a backup light from the same company that gave me the lantern in the field test. And this thing is pretty bright too, as you can see. I really love the design of this thing. This is metal casing. It's got a wonderful construction to it. Even the lens on the front is kind of a magnifying lens, so it makes that LED a little bit brighter, and that thing is thick as shit. There ain't no way you're gonna get no scratches on that or anything. These things can take a beating. You can tell just by the way that they're constructed. So I'm really excited to be able to try this out tonight too. If you guys want to get your hands on either the original Vaunt lantern, LED lantern, that's it opened up right there, or the tactical flashlight, that is a pretty nice set right there. I'll leave links to the Vaunt store down in the description of the video. You can go down there and get the originals for yourself. We do like original gear. We don't want the cheap knockoffs. Yeah, and I felt kind of like I kind of got robbed whenever. Well, I didn't really get robbed because they sent me the lantern. That first lantern that I got was a cheap knockoff. They sent it to me, wanting me to throw it up in a video or come out and field test it, you know, bring it along with me, so I did. And then come to find out, they're not the patent holders for the lantern. Vaunt is. Now, I didn't know about Vaunt as a company at the time, so I guess ignorance doesn't mean innocence, but yeah. I felt kind of bad for Vaunt. So when they got in touch with me, I seen the design of that. I'd already field tested the design and it failed me. And I was like, well, let's try the original patent and see how that thing holds up. So that's what we're going to do tonight after dark. I learned pretty early on in the YouTube game that you can't script things and expect everything to work out according to plan. And if you do script stuff out, or you know, sketch out an idea, something that you want to do, and it doesn't go according to plan, you can't let that get to you. I had a general idea of what I wanted to do in this particular video. Goddamn, son. You warned everybody that I'm here. What I was saying there, for the bird interrupted me, was I had kind of a sketch of what I wanted to do for this particular return video, but every time I tried to implement the plan, something went wrong. So eventually I ended up just throwing that out, and we're doing this all ad lib, like there is no script, there's no plan, we're just doing whatever. We started off down by the creek, rainy morning. It was so rainy whenever I started this that it was messing up the audio on the camera. So I had to take all of that footage and do something to overlay the audio while still being able to use at least the highlights of the footage, because the audio shit. What happened was a water droplet, rain, got down into the microphone of the camera, and it was muffling all of the sound. You couldn't hear me talking. So all of the footage you saw during the music video part of this episode, that's just because the audio was shit. There was actually over 3 hours worth of content there that I couldn't use because rain. After the rain came through, went up, actually hiked all the way through the woods that I was in, and got to the north border HB's woods, which there's a road that runs through there, and I had to use that road as a barrier between the south woods and the north. It's basically the same damn woods, it's just got a little road running through it. HB lives on the south end. So I hiked up through that woods that I was in, where I was camping at in the morning, in the rain. Tried to find HB, couldn't find him, found a doe though. Hiked around again after that. The rain kept coming, the rain kept coming, the rain kept coming. I knew the audio on the camera was shit, but I kept filming anyway. And then eventually I had to put up an emergency rig, just a stick in the ground, threw the 10x10 over top of that stick, got down underneath it, and huddled up until the rain finally stopped and the sun came out. So once the sun come out, then it was a matter of getting up and getting my ass moving again. So we go hiking a little bit more. Run into some more wildlife. Stopped at one of the more sacred places from the Huntsman series down there at the waterfall and the gorge. And then came all the way up here to the top of the fucking world to set up our camp for this evening. None of that was according to plan. It just happened the way that it happened. Didn't really need a fire for heat. I just needed some smoke to get rid of the damn mosquitoes. They were getting a little thick in here. So get some smoke on the nylon tarp and onto the hammock. It'll help keep mosquitoes from coming up trying to bite through the material. I'm sitting here trying to think of things to talk to you guys about, but those of you who caught Redneck Road while I was away, a couple episodes of Redneck Road came out talking about some personal things that were going on. I went through a stint in the hospital. That didn't come out on YouTube, but I did post about it on my social media pages. I'd done a camping trip and got water from the creek after a rain. Boiled it like I always do. Fixed coffee. Never thought nothing of it. Washed up, washed my hands and my face in the creek, and that's where I made a mistake. About 48 hours after I got back from that trip, I started feeling sick. The day after that, it's going to be 72 hours into it, I was full-blown, almost super flu type symptoms. My fever was up to 102 at one point, 102.7. That's when I was thinking about going to the emergency room because I was so hot, everything felt cold. Couldn't eat, I was getting dehydrated, near normal viral infection symptoms. I get to the hospital at like 10:30 in the morning, and I didn't leave for hours and hours and hours. They gave me an IV of fluids, 2 bags of fluids. I was that dehydrated. Some medicine to try to break my fever, but whenever they were trying to break my fever, it would just go all wonky, like my body was trying to fight back the drugs that were trying to stop it. Doctor came back after blood test came back and said I had a viral infection, and the virus normally comes from contaminated water, so he wanted to know where I'd been. And I told him I'd been on a camping trip. He asked me if I drank water from any natural sources, and I told him I did, but I boiled it first. And he said, well, boiling water pretty much sterilizes it. You didn't get it from that. He goes, did you wash your face? And I said, yeah. He goes, that's probably where you got it from, because the water on your hands as you're washing your face, that gets in your mouth, and a couple of droplets of that virus, and it could get a foothold like that, and then 48 hours later you got these symptoms. And I'm like, okay, that's great. What are we going to do? He goes, well, we're not going to do anything for the virus, but we'll treat the symptoms. So, and that's the normal approach to a viral infection. They want your body to fight it off itself. In order for your body to do that, cells have to come out of your bone marrow to fight off this new virus. Your body has to identify it, locate it, kill it. That takes time. It takes about 5 to 7 days, and that's how long I went through that shit. About 5 days before I finally started seeing a little bit of relief from it. It was absolutely horrible, but I can say that I have some current first-hand experience with the dangers of drinking contaminated water whenever you're out into the field, whenever you're out into the woods, whenever you're out camping, whenever you're in a survival situation. Chances are the viral infection is not going to kill you, but you're going to wish that it did. Your body can fight off pretty much anything, but yeah, my body was getting tired of fighting that bug off. So I had, you know, personal problems with Mrs. Huntsman, and then I get sick, and I'm still trying to get back and forth to work, and, you know, do all of that. I had 2 days off of work. That did not help me out any at all, but I did get to make some of that time up working overtime, which didn't count as overtime. I just made the hours back up by working over and working Saturday. It's been rough, and I'm going into a week of work now where I work overtime every single day and Saturday. Lost a memory card, so I lost a shit ton of footage that was going to be on this, and I haven't found that memory card yet. That mystery memory card and all of that footage is at my house somewhere. Things have been chaotic for me, guys. This downtime, what I thought was going to be just quiet and reflective, just kind of pull it all back in, get re-energized, refocused, come up with some great new ideas to keep things fresh and new and exciting for everybody. I did not have a chance to do that in the entire 2 months that I was gone. As soon as I stopped doing YouTube and I stopped having that kind of a schedule, as soon as things opened up, it all turned to chaos. I should have just stuck with the schedule, but live and learn, right? So yeah, as I'm sitting out here now, this is kind of my first break from a gauntlet of fuck. And as I'm sitting here, I just keep getting more and more introspective. Like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to say anything. Film the experience. Focus on the wilderness, not on what is going on with me. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. So there's not going to be an epiphany in this episode. There's not going to be any genius idea in this episode. There's not going to be any revolutionary shit in this episode. It's just me hanging out in the woods trying to regroup a little bit from hell. Literal hell. Some of it was emotional, some of it was mental, some of it was physical. I just ran a damn gauntlet on what was supposed to be a vacation hiatus. Like, you know, I just go to work, go home, lay on the couch, don't have to worry about editing a video or networking or the social network or anything like that. Of course, I didn't go very long before the social network started popping back up online, and, you know, I was sharing some photos and things like that just to keep them going. Because I noticed that, especially on the social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter, if I wasn't active for very long, I was losing followers. So, you know, I'd throw something up to kind of keep everybody's interest in the page, keep them from disliking it, or, you know, keep them from unfollowing me on Twitter. But then, you know, you look at TweetsMap or something like that, and you see you get unfollowed by people, and chances are their account got deleted because they were fucking stupid. So a lot of the unfollowers that I had on Twitter, which was like maybe 4 people unfollowed me, their accounts were deactivated. So they didn't exactly unfollow me. They just get dropped off of Twitter. One thing I can say about my hiatus, I was gone for 2 months. I've posted 1 video previous to this one in 2 months, and it didn't stop my channel a bit. Didn't slow anything down at all. Didn't change my analytics or nothing. 2 months, guys. Didn't post a fucking thing, and everything's the same as if I'd never left. I still get the same average subscribers every single day without inviting people or, you know, hey, come check out the channel or whatever. I don't do any of that. I still get between 15 and 20 subscribers every single day. And my average views, same as they've always been. 2-month break, didn't change a fucking thing. So anybody that says you have to, if you stop, it's dangerous, or stop for a week and you'll be alright, but if you go longer than that, you'll lose subs and you'll bottom out, that doesn't happen. At least it didn't happen to me. It didn't happen to me at all. The channel is doing just fine. It's basically self-maintaining at this point. It's taken on a life of its own. And the only thing that I have to do is moderate the comment section, and the only reason I'm moderating comments right now is because of all the shit going on around YouTube. Channels, you know, getting in trouble and flagged and shit like that for the comment section. So in order to keep humans under control, I just fucking moderate the comment section. You're not gonna say shit on my channel unless I say so. It's not an open forum. So I don't have to worry about YouTube getting their panties in a bunch, and I don't have to worry about some dumbass coming on my channel and doing something stupid. There are a lot of fucking stupid people out there, I tell you what. So now that we're back, everything's going to fall right back in line, guys, as if I'd never left. We're going to be doing the regular Friday night at 8 episodes. That's our regular series, Huntsman series. That'll be Friday night at 8. I'll film that on the weekend. The week after that, the next Friday, is when that particular episode will come out, which gives me time to process all of the footage from the episode and put out all of the photos, stills, teasers, and shit like that on social media the way that I do. On top of the Huntsman series being back on schedule, we'll have a little bit more Redneck Road coming up, and I don't know how that's going to take. Redneck Road's changed a little bit, so if you guys are following the Redneck Road series, which is kind of a side series to the Huntsman channel, that's switched up a little bit, but we're going to see what we can do about rolling on with Redneck Road as if everything's all fine and dandy. Redneck Road is more of a vlog style thing. It's more of me just talking after work or talking about more personal things. We're out of the woods, we're either driving around or walking or doing something, and I just talk about whatever's happening with me personally. That's more of the vlog side of the Huntsman channel. The Huntsman series itself, of course, we have the Bushcraft build going on. Now, the Bushcraft build that I'm doing right now, no construction's done on that build until we go live. The live stream of the Bushcraft build is going to be coming back too. That's probably going to be coming back on Sundays. So I come out on Sunday morning and I'll do the workload as far as wood processes and shit like that goes for the episode. And then I'll try to give you guys a heads up as far as when the live streams are going to be, so you can see me put my cabin together live. That's the rule. The only rule that I have for the new site, our new Bushcraft build, is that I do not do any construction, no hands on the structure itself, unless it's filmed live. The reason that I'm doing that is because it gives you guys real time on what it's like to build a structure like that. You get to see every single mistake that I make. You get to see things tumble over on me a couple of times. If something goes wrong, it's going to get caught on that live stream. That's about as authentic as you can get. You can't edit that shit out. So yeah, our Bushcraft build is live only. Usually on Sunday afternoons is when that live stream happens. I know a lot of people like to spend time with their families and stuff like that on Sundays, get ready for the work week, you got all that adulting shit to do. But that's the window of opportunity I got to do those live streams. Usually get a pretty good crowd of people in there and we have a pretty good time with this live build. The structure's a little bit bigger than what I'm used to making. I'm used to throwing up something simple like this. I like having a portable camp. I like having a hammock or a bedroll and the tarp, and that's it. You guys see me sleeping on the bare ass fucking ground. No bed pad, no, none of that shit. I ain't carrying all that out. As long as I'm comfortable and can get some sleep, that's all I need. Hammock, obviously that's an acquired taste. There's some different riggings that you can do for your hammock to make them a little bit more comfortable. I've seen guys putting bed pads in a fucking hammock. You soft ass pussies. New gear, obviously the 10x10 ripstop nylon tarp from Bushcraft Outfitters. That is a new piece of gear that I got. I got this here too. I'll show you right quick. Get this thing off. This is my new, kind of like an EDC. Got this thing strapped to my hip quite a bit. I just picked that up to carry my essentials. The stuff that I use the absolute most of. It's just kind of like a little side hip bag. Carry my knife in there, carry my cell phones in there so I don't lose another fucking iPhone while I'm out in the woods. And I can carry an extra knife on the belt or my compass or anything like that. Anything that I need to grab quickly and I don't want to take my backpack off to get to it, I just slap on this thing, throw my essentials in there, and yeah, that's how I roll now. Carry that Han Solo with me wherever I go, pretty much. I even wear this outside of the woods, and the reason I wear it outside of the woods is because I'm just trying to get used to having a Han Solo on my hip. The other piece of gear that I started using during my hiatus are from Survivorware. Now, Survivorware got in touch with me, just like a lot of other Amazon stores do, and they know that I'm out in the woods all the time, and they know my perspective of my focus on the wilderness, of taking care of the wildlife, of taking care of nature, respecting nature, actually stopping to pay attention to nature. So Surviveware got a hold of me and said, hey, you know, we saw your channel, we saw some of your content, we saw your respect for nature. We want to send you some of our wet wipes to help you out on your trips. So they sent me these here wet wipes. And what's cool about these is they are pH balanced, hypoallergenic, unscented. They got aloe in them, and they are completely biodegradable. So if you happen to drop these, like if for whatever reason you bury them because you wiped your ass, or you happen to drop these while you're out in the woods, within a month they are completely gone. There is no trace. So these can be just thrown on the ground. They're just going to fucking disappear. The other great thing about these is they're completely non-toxic. So if you do happen to drop one, like you're wiping your hands, or for whatever reason, one of them just fell out of your pocket, fell out of your bag, fell out of your trash bag, whatever, if it drops on the ground and an animal gets a hold of it, the animal's going to get a dose of vitamin E, and that's about it. It's not going to hurt the smallest of animals. So this is a really good product. I'm really happy to have this along with me. So yeah, this is another thing that I'm going to be carrying. I'll be doing a review video on these too. So these are from Surviveware biodegradable large wet wipes with aloe. Very cool that they got in touch with me to have these thrown in my bag. We're going to be doing a test run with these. And if you want to get your hands on a pack yourself, I'll leave a link to these down in the description below. So, we got Bushcraft Outfitters 10x10 ripstop nylon tarp. We got the original patent for the Vaunt lantern, LED lantern, and this thing is bright as fuck. I cannot wait to give that thing a beating after dark. I actually want to take this on a fishing trip too and see how long the batteries hold up overnight. We got that, and we also got the tactical flashlight from Vaunt. If you want to get your hands on any of that stuff, the Vaunt lantern, the Vaunt tactical flashlight, or the biodegradable wet wipes that I carry in my own backpack, just check the description. All of the links to all of the stores, original stores, are down there. I want to thank everybody for reaching out and helping me stock up on the gear. Of course, I don't get paid for doing these reviews. They get a hold of me, I take a look at their product, or if there's a story behind the product, like the lantern with the Polar Vortex story. I had a knockoff of the lantern. The original patent holder gets a hold of me and says, this is the real deal, try it out. Okay, that I can justify, but none of the stores pay me to put their products in. These aren't sponsors or anything like that. I'm still not making any money off of that kind of thing. They just send me stuff to bring out here and beat the shit out of, see how it holds up, give you guys my honest opinion. So that's what I'm doing. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If a company once says, hey, we got honest and, you know, to goodness good pieces, and we want to have integrity in our company, I'm more than happy to put them through the test. This is the one thing I hate about this goddamn hammock. So yeah, I have Amazon stores reaching out to me. I think I had the Amazon stores started reaching out to me at about 1 million views. I'm at about 1.5 million using that right now. We're coming up on the 2 million view mark. So more and more stores are trying to get a hold of me, trying to push their products into the series. Eventually, I'm going to start saying no to every one of them because that's not what the channel's about. Like I said, if it's a good product that I believe in, you know, pitch it to you guys, see what you guys think. If you want it, you can go grab it. I'm not going to shove it down your throat. You're not going to see it at the beginning of my video. You're never going to see me saying, thank you, Squaresoft, for sponsoring this video, and I'm going to go out and cook a bushcraft bagel in your honor. That's not going to happen. What is going to happen is, if I test a product out and it works for me, or it fails for me, I'm going to let you guys know. That way, if you happen to come across the same product, want the same product, or they start pitching it to you, you know whether or not to go grab it for yourselves. That former light that I had, that former LED lantern, it didn't hold up in a polar vortex. So if you're looking for a winter lantern, that's not the one for you. When winter comes around, we'll go ahead and test out this Vaunt lantern and see how it holds up. But that previous one, it held up pretty good for a couple of overnighters, but as soon as the weather got really bad, it blipped out on me. And it was a bad situation to be in the wilderness without a light. I'm lucky I had to back up light and could get out of the woods. Because like I said, I was live streaming during that polar vortex. I was live streaming when the lights started flickering out. And I was in the middle of nowhere. That was not a good spot to be. So when Vaunt got a hold of me and said, this is the original, this ain't going to fail you like that first one did, I jumped right on it and said, go ahead and send me one, and I want to see if I got played on that first lantern. I really want to know if I got cheated by that first company, because I still got their email. And I'll let them know my thoughts after I review the original patent holder's product. So, yeah, there's a lot of shops out there that'll network with you, you know, and get you some gear. But you got to make sure that the companies that you're working with are honest companies. Obviously, that first company that got a hold of me with that first lantern was not an honest company. They're a knockoff company, and they stole someone else's idea and ran with it, and I believed them. I didn't know any better. Now I do. So now I'm kind of on this mission, I guess, to go ahead, send me something. If I find the original patent holder is not you, you're going to wish you never sent it to me. And I guess that would be a warning to any fucking store out there. If you're just making knockoff stuff, trying to piggyback on someone else's patent, or trying to piggyback off of someone else's work, and you're giving people low-grade equipment under a high-grade guise, I'm going to bust you. And we're just going to put it out there like that. We're not going to be friends. Anyway, guys, I must be getting a little dehydrated because my mouth's getting dry. I'm going to kick back here, try to get some rest. Wait until dark. Once dark comes around, and we're going to go on a little night hike with this lantern and test it out. Got a little bit of time before dark rolls around, but I am dead dog tired, guys. So, yeah, I'm just going to stretch out a little bit, and maybe before dark we'll take another little hike. I don't know. If not, you know, I'll do the wrap up, and that'll be it for this episode. Yeah. Right now, I'm just going to kick back and take a nap, guys. Okay guys, we stepped away from camp here for a little bit. We're off into the woods on a night hike to test out the new Vaunt LED tactical flashlight. We're going to start with that, and then we'll move on to the Vaunt LED lantern. So here we go. As you can see, our new tactical flashlight has a very wide high beam, and we're going to be using this to navigate through our woods here tonight and try to find our way back to camp. So this little tactical flashlight I got packed with me this time, it does not have an adjustable beam where I can collapse the beam down to a more focused beam, but this wide beam is serving me really well, and I can tell just by seeing the viewfinder on the camera that it's lighting things up a lot better than previous lights that I've tested out in the field. So far so good. This LED tactical flashlight does have a belt clip on it for easy access, and it's very lightweight, so whenever I do have it clipped to my belt, I don't even really notice that it's there. It's also really heavy construction, which means it can take all the knocks that I want to throw at it. Still on a heavy incline. I can see my way ahead fairly well, and I can see right in front of me perfectly. This thing's like carrying the sun in your pocket. Look at that range. This thing has amazing range on it. I can see well ahead of me, and because it is such a wide beam, I can see everything immediately in front of me. We'll get up here to this, looks like we got a downed tree up here, and we'll bust out the Vaunt LED lantern and see how she lights this woods up. Alright, let's go ahead and bust the lantern out right about here. So this here is the Vaunt LED lantern. You can see the stainless steel handles on it. This thing is very lightweight, but it's also made out of aerospace material, so it can take a beating too. This thing also has 30 LEDs in it, so I'm expecting it to light this up as if it was noon. Let's try this thing out. Whoa, that boy is bright. So this is the Vaunt LED lantern, original patent. Look at the glare off of that thing. My camera's loving that beam. 30 LEDs inside that light, guys. That is a bright little guy. And like I said, it's got steel handles on it, and it's made out of really high grade material, so it can take a beating. That thing is lighting everything up around here. It's going to take a minute for my eyes to adjust. So let's back away from it a little bit and just see how far we can go here. Man, that little guy is a tank. Now, I know you can't make it out on the camera right here. I'm going to step away far back as this light will let me go. I'll let you know whenever I reach the edge of the light where I cannot see the ground anymore. Now keep in mind, that little lantern back there is just sitting on a tree stump, like a down log. And I can still make out the ground this far away from it. I'm gonna say about 30 yards away from that lantern, and I can still make out everything on the ground. That is crazy. Really hard to pick that kind of stuff up on camera. I mean, you have to experience this thing to know what it's really like. It just lights up everything around here. We get up here closer to the lantern. Put the camera off to the side here and see if we can make anything out. So you see the edge of that inner ring of light beyond the flare. I mean, it's just lighting everything up around here. I hear something moving on the leaves down here. I bet it's a toad. That thing is crazy. So, yeah, 30 LEDs in that thing. Bright as shit and already attracting every bug in the forest. And this here is the little Vaunt tactical flashlight that I'm hiking with. So whenever I'm hiking, I can use the beam from this thing. Very lightweight. It does have the steel belt clip on there, and that thing holds tight. You're not going to drop this once you clip it on your belt. Really heavy construction, and look at that lens in there. That's where that beam gets so bright and so wide. It's because of that fisheye lens. Amazing construction on this little tactical flashlight. I love it. And that thing there is just like having the sun out here. I mean, it just lights up everything. Now, the battery life in that, of course, it depends on the batteries you put in it. They could last up to 30 hours. And then as you drop it down, of course, you can control your brightness with how wide you got that thing open. You can drop it down like that and just have a little crack of light. And even at that, that's like just 2 LEDs right there. That's just 2 LEDs out of the 30. Look at that thing. Amazing. So we're going to go ahead and hike a little bit more. We'll use the flashlight to start off with, and then we'll see what we can do with hiking with the lantern. Alright, the reason that I'm going to continue hiking with the Vaunt tactical flashlight rather than the lantern is because I'm not completely familiar with this forest, or this section of forest, and having this wide beam with such a wide field of view is helping out a lot, making me a lot more comfortable. Plus, with the lantern, you would have the LED shining back in your face, kind of giving you that blind spot. So the lantern would be great for camp. The tactical flashlight, great for finding your way out of situations like the one I'm in right now. Now at present, I am about maybe half a mile away from my camp, but it's really easy to get turned around in the forest whenever you're hiking through it at night. I'm trying to go in one general direction and not get turned around, but the odds of me getting turned around while I'm walking through at night and not being able to see my normal landmarks are actually pretty high. So finding my way back to camp in the dark, even with these new lights, might turn into a bit of a challenge. Alright, went a little ways here. Let's, and I know that big tree right there. If I can get the camera to focus, there we go. Yeah, that big tree right there. So I know just about where we're at. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the lantern and see how she fares. Okay, now we're hiking with the lantern, so you're going to get that little bit of glare on the side of the frame just because the thing's so bright. I mean, as soon as I get in the front, look at that. That is crazy. That's some Star Wars shit. Some of it's the type of camera that I use, but this thing is insanely bright, guys. That's nuts. So now I'm trying to navigate with the lantern. The lantern is casting 360 light all the way around, which means it can glare up in my face a little bit, kind of take away my night vision a lot more than the light does, the tactical flashlight does. But I can literally see everything in, I don't know, maybe 30-40 yards all around me, standing at the center of this light source with this particular lantern. So no matter which way I turn, I can see something. Like I said there as I was walking along, the tactical flashlight, great for hiking at night. I should be using tactical flashlight right now because the glare off of this really bright lantern is kind of giving me blind spots. I can tell how the brightness of the lantern is affecting my night vision. I don't get that with a Vaunt tactical flashlight like I do with these 30 LEDs. This lantern, great for setting up at camp. You would be able to see everything around your camp all night long for days on end and not have any trouble out of this particular lantern. Walking through terrain like this, it's getting a little bit denser now. I'm probably going to, just for safety reasons, switch back over to the Vaunt tactical flashlight. Now, as I'm switching back and forth between the Vaunt tactical flashlight and the lantern, I'm actually just clipping the lantern itself right onto my belt for my side pouch. It's getting knocked around pretty good. I'm doing that on purpose. One, is easy access. Two, I want to see if it can take a few knocks and those handles aren't going to come loose. So far, so good. So, construction wise, the lantern's holding up too, because it's bumping up against my thigh as I'm walking through this terrain in the middle of the night trying to find my way back to camp. It's taking a beating, and she's holding on pretty good. Ain't no sign of those handles on there failing at all, so really happy with that too. Whenever you do the kind of things that I do, whether you're going out on a night hike or whether you're doing a Huntsman slide down a cliff, or any of the stuff that you see in the Huntsman series, you want stuff that's made out of high-grade material that can take a beating, and as I said previously in the episode, can take all kinds of weather conditions. Both the Vaunt LED tactical flashlight and the 30 LED lantern are waterproof, made out of high-grade material, and they last forever on one set of batteries. So you really can't go wrong with the product. I mean, I've had them out here tonight. They went through the whole beating that I put them through in the rainstorm, setting up camp, tearing down camp, setting up camp again, doing an overnighter, and then coming out on this little night hike to round out the episode of the Huntsman. These things have been put to the test on this trip, and I would depend on them again in the future. But we still got us a little ways to go before we're out of the woods yet. Now I'm coming into a really thick, tangled mess of an area that I'm trying to navigate through without getting tripped up. Looks like I wandered off into some downed trees. You can see there. I might try to find my way out of this rat maze. Whoa! I tripped up on a log. You can see all the debris laying on the ground here. But then I got all these vines that keep tripping me up too. Get into these heavy grasses in the middle of the night, y'all. The bugs start getting to you. The heat starts getting to you. The terrain starts getting to you. You know night hikes are fun. Now, we're going to move on to the next test, which is I'm going to put the tactical flashlight away, and I'm going to turn the lantern on, but I'm going to leave it suspended from my belt. So I'm not going to be holding the lantern. I'm just going to be walking along, seeing how we can film with it. So let's try that out. So there's the lantern as it's attached to my hip. I mean, it's just right there on my leg. So I'm going to try to walk with it just attached to my belt. I can see everything in front of me, and having it attached to my belt not only keeps my hands free, but it doesn't give me that blind spot. It's not glaring up in my eyes because I got it sitting so low. Closer to the ground, I can obviously make more out on the ground as I'm walking. The only effect of having it on my hip is that little bit of sway I get while I'm walking. But as you can see, as I'm walking, it's bumping up against my thigh, and those LEDs mounted in there aren't flickering at all. They are rock steady. So that's one of the tests that I wanted to do with this light, because the knockoff version that I was originally given, if I was to do this with it, the damn thing would flicker out because those LEDs on there are subpar, and it just does not hold up. It fails you when you need it the most. This thing here, you can see right now what kind of a beating it's taking, and it ain't even flickering at all. So again, with having this attached to my thigh, I can make out everything around me, aside from where my shadow's at. That's my shadow behind me there. But I can make out everything within almost a 360-degree circumference around me as I'm walking hands free. Added benefit to those steel handles on this lantern, and the way that they're mounted to the lantern, they're just not going to give out on you. Not unless you like really fell hard right down on it and your whole body weight came down on the lantern. Then you might get a bend in one, but this thing is taking a knocking right now. A little more debris coming up on the ground here. I can see it just fine with the light from the lantern. It's not coming out on camera so much, but that's just filming at night, guys. I got it on night scene. This is what we're getting. Now let's try both the lantern and the Vaunt tactical flashlight at the same time and just brighten this up a lot. Alright, so I got the lantern lighting up everything in the immediate vicinity. I got the Vaunt LED tactical flashlight lighting the way ahead. Really happy with this setup. I probably look like a will-o'-the-wisp walking through the woods. Just this bouncing ball of light. Attracting every goddamn mosquito around too. Got a little bit of a creek here. Looks like she's all dried up. The rain's finally moved out of the area. But we still got some of these low-lying areas that are a bit flooded. And I am coming into a tangled mess, y'all. It's a bunch of down trees again. Well, looks like we're going stump jumping. Now I still got that lantern attached to my leg. I'm jumping over tree stumps, walking down hills, jumping over this little creek back and forth, back and forth. She's holding up good. We're just following this tributary here. You can see this that bit of mud right there. That's the tributary we're following down on into the woods. It's going to take us down into the valley, and from there we should be able to navigate our way back to camp. Taking a beating like a champ. Alright, so we got some more obstacles here. We just gonna jump right over them. Look at that. Dropping right off of it. No problems. Well, I think I'm getting a little offset here because I was going downhill and now I'm going uphill and I'm trying to get downhill into the bottom of the valley, not up here at the top of the ridge. I'm talking about not paying attention, man. You really got to focus at night. It's just too easy to get turned around and lost in the woods trying to do these night hikes. Alright, we got another downhill here. So far, so good. I can see why Vaughn went and put a patent on these products, why they have the original patent to this design, because it's an amazing design. At least the original design is. I have tested the cheap knockoff. As I said previously in the episode, we had that cheap knockoff out in a polar vortex, one of the most dangerous situations we could have been in, and the light started failing on me while I had frost spreading through my beard. It was that cold out. That was not a situation where I needed a gear failure to happen. I'm going through this as rough as I can without suffering a physical injury, and these lights are just holding up no matter what I put them through. It's just crazy the kind of abuse that these things can take. They are not designed to be attached to your hip, lighting your way on a night hike. They're designed to illuminate your camp, you know, make you feel all safe and cozy in that ring of light. But I wanted to put them to the test, and we are doing that as we speak. Well, guys, I'm trying to illuminate myself as best I can as I'm finishing my little wrap up to this return episode of the Huntsman series. I have a little bit of a ways to go before I can get back to camp. I got turned around somewhere back there. I'm not entirely sure where I'm at, but that just means I need to turn the camera off for a minute, refocus on what I'm doing, try to find my way back to camp. I don't even know if the camera's focusing on me very well with it being this dark outside, but I think I can find my way using this new gear. So, as always, guys, welcome back to the Huntsman series. I hope you guys enjoyed the trip. Thank you for sticking around with me, those of you who stuck around for this full 2-hour episode. I really appreciate it. Anybody wants to get your hands on the gear that I'm using right here in the video tonight, I will leave links down in the description to everything that I can so you guys can get your hands on this stuff too. I've brought it out here, I've tested it myself. I won't let you guys down on quality products, so go ahead, check out those links, get yourself some of this stuff too. It might help you out in a really bad situation. Alright guys, we are back to our regularly scheduled program. Starting next Friday night at 8, we'll have a regular episode of Huntsman. This Sunday, I'm going to try to do a live bushcraft build stream from our new camp. So I'll try to get down there. If we can go live while we're down there working, we'll go live. So as always, thank you guys a lot for coming along with me, and I will see you next trip.